Want smart analysis of the most important news in your inbox every weekday along with other global reads, interesting ideas and opinions to know? Sign up for the Today's Worldview newsletter. For more than a year, Americans have fretted over the extent to which Russia influenced the outcome of last year's presidential election. A special counsel probe into Russian meddling continues to roil politics in Washington and may yet ensnare more figures linked to the Trump administration. The specter of Kremlin collusion has darkened U.S.-Russia diplomatic relations. The proliferation of Russian bots on social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter has led to difficult reckonings within U.S. tech and social media companies. But, in the longer term, U.S. strategists may be less worried about the influence of Moscow abroad than that of Beijing. On Wednesday, Sen. Marco Rubio, RFLA, convened a hearing on the long arm of China, focusing on China's capacity to launch influence operations abroad to gain leverage over democratic rivals. We have a lot of discussion of Russian interference in our elections, but the Chinese efforts to influence our public policy and our basic freedoms are much more widespread than most people realize, Rubio told my colleague Josh Rogin ahead of the session. The discussion was timely. On Tuesday, as you may have read in yesterday's edition, Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull announced a ban on foreign political donations, citing disturbing reports about Chinese influence. These include the allegations surrounding Sam Dastyadi, a Labour Party senator accused of endorsing China's controversial actions in the disputed South China Sea, against his party's platform, in return for support from donor Huang Xiangmo, as the Post's Simon Denier wrote. He was also reported to have given Huang advice on how to evade Australian surveillance and to have unsuccessfully tried to pressure Labour's deputy leader not to meet a Hong Kong pro-democracy activist in 2015. On Wednesday, attention in Australia centred on a Chinese letter calling on Australian Chinese to vote against the ruling Liberal Party. Its origins, though murky, appeared to have some connection to an agency within the Chinese Communist Party. China's foreign ministry and the state mouthpiece, the People's Daily, rebuffed any suggestion of manipulation, asking Australians to discard their political biases and prejudices. Australia and New Zealand have so far allowed foreign donations. But the growing clout of China, which retains huge economic interests in the antipodes, is causing alarm. In its own annual report to Parliament, Australia's domestic intelligence agency warned of foreign influence posing a threat to our sovereignty, the integrity of our national institutions, and the exercise of our citizens' rights. In September, a comprehensive report by New Zealand academic Anne-Marie Brady on Chinese soft power, there including Chinese patronage networks reaching into the political elite and the use of the country's dairy farms to test Chinese satellites, shook up New Zealand's election campaign. China is, of course, a world power, and it is natural for it to cultivate extensive ties in foreign lands.